Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Alex Larshevek and today we're going to be analyzing Indio, California, which is right in my backyard. For those who do not know what Indio is, it is essentially the Coachella backyard. So Coachella, for those who don't know what Coachella is, it's the music festival that, happens once a year. And everyone goes to Indio or Coachella, and the actual, the actual, oops, sorry, Indio. The actual festival happens right here on the Palms, or actually no, right here, Empire Polo Club. Today we're going to be looking at Indio, see how it is as um, an Airbnb market, and let's get started. So, for those who do not know what Indio is, um, so Indio is a city in Riverside, California, and it's 125 miles east of LA. It's next to Palm Springs, which is actually like 30 minutes from Palm Springs. And actually, over here was when I bought my first rental property here in Cathedral City. Um, and so I used to be in this desert a lot. I have good and bad memories. So I'm very opinionated about this market. Um, so anyways, today we're gonna take a look at this market as it is right in my backyard, and it does have some decent demand. So let's get started. So Indio, California. Let's look at the population really quick. So the population over the last uh, year has been growing 1.19% annually with a population increase of 5.36% um, for the entire census in 2020. So overall, the population isn't huge. It's 94K. But if you were to take this whole metro area, you're looking at a population of way larger than that. I don't know the exact number, but the fact that they're having like hockey teams come in here, they built a stadium in this area as well. Show It kind of tells a lot about the population in general. It's definitely growing a bit, and for the price point compared to like actual Los Angeles, it is much more affordable. I wouldn't say Palm Springs per se, but anywhere else is much more affordable. It is a little bit further removed from everything. Like to get to LA, you're gonna drive at least 2 hours, I would say. Um, and I was driving when I had my rental property. I was driving back and forth almost every single weekend. So I had a lot of yeah, again, fond memories or interesting memories there. In terms of economic and income status, the median household income is 78K, where the families are 89,000. So decent. I mean, as a whole, this is decent compared to like people across the US, but for California, this is a little bit on the lower end. Poverty rate is 11.6%, so decent amount of poverty. We're gonna look at Justice Map because Indio does have some good and bad parts. I would say like any other city, to be fair. Um, so going right here to Indio, you can see that pretty much this place near the freeway and near the casino is the poorest in this area. So you're looking at an income of 22,000. And then it gets a little bit richer and much richer over here, where you have these PGA West golf courses and then the Empire Polo Club. And then even up here is pretty decent, uh, where you get into the Bermuda Dunes area. Over here, south, you again, very poor compared to other areas. You're looking at an income of 33K, anywhere south of the Empire Polo Club. With that being said, let's take a look at the Airbnb. Actually, first, let's take a look at Redfin, Indio City. So here's the Indio housing market. Over the past 3 years, it's been up 5.7% year over year. Number of homes sold um, last month was 67 and it's been decreasing pretty drastically. Median days on market has been 60. Overall, it's not that competitive. You're looking at a 36 competitive score where 3% sell below list price in around 81 days, and hot homes can sell around list price in 39 days. So still a lot of time on the market. 20%, around 20% of homes have price drops. And for some reason, 20% homes also sold above list price. It just depends what the actual list price is. Um, cool. And now looking at our overview of the market. So overall, let's remove that. Overall, if you're a house in Indio, you expect an annual revenue of 93K with an occupancy rate of 45% and an average daily rate of $631. RevPAR of 285, which is a lot of dollar amount. So overall, this is a very strong market. But as you'll see, there's a lot of top listings that have a lot of amenities. So it's going to be very hard to stand out. Overall, the total active listings is 821. So a huge amount of listings. And most are both listed on Airbnb and VRBO. So this is something you don't see very often either. So one bed and two bed make up just 8% of the market, whereas 3, 4, 5% make up the rest. You have 5+ beds making up 31% of the market and 4+ beds making up 33%. So again, a ginormous amount of competition. Rental growth over the past year has taken a big plummet, but it's spiking back up, probably to get ready for uh, the Coachella season. And for occupancy, we have an occupancy rate of 45%, length of stay of 3.4 days, and a booking lead time of about 2 months. Overall, the occupancy is actually, I'm surprised this is fairly stable occupancy over an entire year. Um, yeah, most guests will stay, yeah, 3 to 4 nights. And then when we look at revenue, so the average revenue is 93K, but again, in the actual, most of the stock of homes in this actual area is 3+ beds. So you definitely have to take that into account. Um, on a hot month, let's just say June. So a 2 bed starts at 3.1K, a 3 bed starts at 4.3K, jump of 1K. For a 4 bed, we jump another $1,000 or 1,200 to 5.5K. And then for a 5 bed, we would jump 3.4K to 5 bed. And then lastly, jumping to 6+ beds, you're almost doubling that at 9K to almost $19,000. So if you want to make money, you definitely want to be in the larger bedroom count. But again, as you'll see later, you'll see that there's a lot of competition everywhere. Um, yeah, so you can definitely tell that April is the Coachella month, which it is, as the average daily rates jump to $1,000 per night. Looking at RevPAR, this kind of gives us the seasonality. Overall, January is actually decently packed, as well as February and March. So March and April, this is when all the festivals happen. And then June, July, August, you're basically booked out on the weekends only. September and October are actually the low months here. In December, you actually still get a decent amount of people, as this area is known for a lot of people from like the colder regions like Canada. Um, Also, people uh, back out east to like fly down here to retire and to basically spend the winter here, as it's a lot much hotter than those cold winter months. For the top short-term rentals, oh my goodness, I think this is the most we've ever seen, but this is making $1.5 million. Holy crap. Um, but as you can see, there's a lot of competition here. So this has some pickleball courts, a lazy river, its own pool, a putting green. Um, I'm sure there's a hot tub in here somewhere, outside dining, and also this like even ranch area, this like greenery. It has a bowling alley. Yep, there's a theater as well. Arcade, decked out to the nines, another theater. I mean, you can tell that this place has a lot of detail and a lot of money dumped into this. So this is essentially, yeah, you're getting a resort-like experience here. Even the lighting itself is very nice. You have a lot of like picturesque moments. Um, and again, the lazy river is absolutely phenomenal. Um, so that's your competition that you're working with. Let's see what else. Overall, it's a pretty, again, very luxurious and minimalistic house. Let's see how many people sleep. So it sleeps 16 plus beds, 11 bedrooms, 20 beds, and 11.5 baths. So this is essentially like a mega mansion. Um, Overall though, it's again making $1.5 million. Insane, insane, insane. This is a second top earner. Again, we have the same theme here with a lazy river, putting green across the lazy river, a basketball and pickleball courts, and then this little outhouse as well. And the little outhouse contains another game room. So you have pool table, arcade, just insane amounts of really awesome amenities. Um, you even have these, which are like little slides. That's pretty peak. Like it's really, really hard to compete against that, and it's gonna take a lot of money. This is looking like a $200,000 investment at least. Um, and it has a gym as well. So you can see, I won't go through every single one, but uh, basically going through um, each of these listings, that is essentially what you're up against. This Drew guy is making a ton of money. So he lives in Indio. He has probably like five of the most popular homes in the area, and he's making an absolute killing. I bet you this, yeah, this one's also Drew. Bermuda Dunes. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I feel like this one's probably also Drew. Oh, doesn't work. So in general, going back to my point, there's a lot of competition here, but there's potential to make a lot as well. Um, so like I said, like it's gonna be really, really hard to stand out here. Like you can see even at way down here, you have a nicely decorated pool. You have a pickleball court. You have like a custom mural. It's not as nice, I guess. You don't have like putting greens, but you do have a slide as well. Like this home, and look at even a decked out arcade. The heck are there chairs? Um, but anyways, like even with something like that, with a really decked out home, you're down here making 232, but like you have pages and pages of competition that you have to compete against. This goes all the way down. You have these listings with bright colors. Even this guy with a huge mural, um, putting green, pool, professional listings, W Wasop Poker, Mural Arcade. Like we're gonna continue to scroll down here and we're gonna still see amazing, amazing listings. So the competition here is very, very fierce. So this is what it's the scary part about this. Um, yeah, here's the scary part about this landscape is that we're still scrolling and we still see homes making 190K and they're still professional, super, super professional listings. So I think you get the point. It's gonna be very, very hard to comp against some of these. Uh, I let's continue just scrolling down even more until we see something that's like not professional at all. So over here, like you will almost 100% need a pool and some type of, putting green or yeah. I mean, you'll need a pool 100% here. Um, it's crazy. Like even going down here, we're at 2,500 square foot home, 5 bed, 3 bed. There's a pool. I mean, it's not as nice, don't get me wrong, but we're at 51K now. Even this guy, it's really nice listing. Let's actually see. Yeah, the interior is not as nice, not as concise, but they're all the way down to 56K. Like, there's a huge jump in potential. I mean, even here, like you have this like montage luxury listing, walking to Stagecoach Coachella, beautiful home. I don't know if this is a secondary listing or not, but um, like they're only making 50K, and that is a big, big issue. So yeah, a lot of competition here. We're still scrolling down. Actually, let me reduce these filters. I'm only gonna do this guy. Maybe I should sort by. Ay, ay, ay. Let's continue to do that scroll again. Anyways, we'll stop that for now. But looking at the actual demographics or the actual listing, so we have a good chunk in Bermuda Dunes, a good chunk right here near Ave 44, and then a huge in this Colony Park. I actually want to quickly see where the top rentals are. So we have some in this area here, big chunk in Bermuda Dunes. So it's mostly Bermuda Dunes as well as this area here, near Ave 48. So I'm going to basically look at Ave 48 and Bermuda Dunes for my Zillow search. So going to Indio, California, Ave 48 area. So we definitely want something with a lot of to hold a lot of people. Again, going back to those occupancy chart, we want to be at like a 5+ bed at least. Um, because those numbers jump drastically. And ideally, we want six to hold at least 16+ people. So going to here, so Ave 48 between the Roger Dunn Golf Shop. Where's that? Okay, so we're looking around this same block. So in this block, we actually have some that are not horribly priced. So we have this guy here, 825, 5 bed, 5 bath, 3,000 square feet. I mean, this is like an immediate no. Like, look how small the pool is, and this, if we want to have an Airbnb, that's gonna be very, very hard to compete with. I think what we're looking at like here is something with a huge backyard because that was what we were seeing for the top listings. Next, we have this guy here, 1.149 million. Has a decently sized backyard. Um, also has this big grass area that we would probably utilize to, again, have a pickleball court and have a little putting green. Just basically match what the amenities the top performers were having. Um, we would also need to add, yeah, probably like an arcade in the garage. So this is actually a decently nice home, but you're sinking a lot of money. This is a $1.149 million house. Um, let's actually sort this really quick to low to high. So the next cheapest, actually, yeah, okay. So this is the cheapest, 575. Decent home, 5 bed, 2 bath, no backyard whatsoever, no pool. So it's honestly a no-brainer. Actually, that's fine. I'll keep it for now. I mean, at this home, for this price point, you would need to install a pool here yourself. Um, you do get a little cheaper price point, but there's a lot of work to be done. This home here is very nice. This was probably an Airbnb before. You can just tell by the mural, by the fake wall grass or fake grass wall. Yeah, the bed layout. So this was definitely an Airbnb before, and they're putting it on the market. Um, this is 749. I want to see the backyard. The backyard is pretty nice. It's not like, again, those resort styles that we're seeing in the other listings, but the price point is decent. So I'm gonna take a like to that one. We don't want to stay in La Quinta. We want to stay in this little area again. Um, next is this home, $835,000. So you have this pool backyard, simple. It's nothing crazy, but it is fairly nice as well. Oh no, I lost that. Okay, so that's nice as well. I'll like this really quick. Oops. Where was the home I was looking at? I will like, wait. Yeah, I guess I'll like this really quick. But yeah, I think at the price point where we want to have those resort style backyards, we're gonna need something really, really large in terms of lot size. You can actually sort by lot size here, and we're looking at, for those massive, massive homes, we're looking at a price point of $4.2 million. Insane. But this looks almost exactly like that top performer. We then drop to 4.7 mil, where you have your own little pond even. This would be super sweet. But again, the price point is going to be pretty painful to swallow. This drops down to 2.2, where you already have a pickleball court, a pool, some other amenities. Um, but I think to be like reasonable, I think we would want to be, yeah, around here, the $1.1 million house. So I'm gonna like this one just in case. So basically two homes here that really caught my interest. I'll unlike this one and only use this guy as a comp. And then the other area we wanted to look at is this Bermuda Hills area or Bermuda Dunes area. So there's not that many 5 beds over here. Um, and yeah, we basically got 4 options. We'll take a look at this home here. So 5 bed, 3 bath. It is in an HOA area, so that might be a little harder. Actually, is this in an HOA as well? I mean, some of these are all like, the thing about this area is that there's going to be a lot of HOA areas as well as, and you basically just have to find out whether or not they allow it. So we see that these are kind of near this outskirt over here, near the country or near Washington Street. But the only home that is near Washington Street is this guy. Um, Listed at 1 mil, 5 bed, 3 bath. It's pretty nice. The backyard isn't like massive though, so I'm not too interested into that. Also, the price point's much higher than the one that we looked at before. Let's see, this guy. This guy is decent as well. Yeah, I don't think there's anything up here that's kind of speaking to me. Let's just reduce this really quick to 4 beds just to see the options around here. So we have this guy here, 1.278. Looks to be fairly updated, built in 2006. 3,200 square foot home. And yeah, the backyard's very nice. It's not that resort style that we want, but it is a nice home. This one also isn't resort style either. So there's not that many like resort. Well, this one is resort style. Um, 6 beds, 6 bath, 3,500 square foot. Looks to have another kind of ADU or outhouse, or maybe that's just a clubhouse. But you can do a lot with this guy. So I think this has a lot of potential, but again, we're looking at the price point here. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's not many options around here. And actually, let's double check that. Yeah, so this isn't an HOA. So I think no matter what, we are gonna be in an HOA area. I mean, this is $220. Let's see the homes out here really quick. These are new homes. 4 bed, 3 bath, 2,400 square foot. But I feel like the backyards are going to be pretty tiny here. Yeah, tiny backyards. Um, let's take a look at this guy one more time. Nothing crazy. See how big the backyard is. Needs some work, definitely. Yeah, overall, I don't think anything really like speaks to me in the Bermuda Hills area. Let's just take a look. I mean, we also saw homes here. It does seem like a lower price point. Um, but again, I do know that this area or right under it is a little bit rougher. Um, let's just take a look at the price point on some of these. We have this home here. Pretty nice. You have a golf simulator. That might be, and this was definitely an Airbnb before. Um, the fact that they're selling is a little suspicious. Overall, let's just stick to what we liked and let's just start analyzing just to get a sense of where we're going to be at. So overall, let's see, I copy STR analyzer. This is going to be Indio, California. Make a copy. California. So overall, I think we liked a couple down here. Let's start with this guy here. So this is, we'll name this, let's just do Avenue 48. Ave 48. This is 5-bed, 3-bath. Home 2 is going to be this more resort-like home here. So home 2 is going to be just copy this, 2. So let's just start with these two homes really quick. So the first home is going to be harder to comp than this second one, I think. So the first home is this 5-bed, 3-bath, 2,013 square feet, built in 2003. The thing is, like, all these homes are fairly similar. They're all very nice interiorly. They all could potentially sleep 16 people, but I think it's the backyard that really makes the differentiator. This one, we do have a nice pool, and obviously we can make this nicer with, like uh, better like lounge chairs, better decor, changing out this patch of grass for some putting green. But we're not going to get the resort style properties that we see here. So I'm actually going to, just to make this simpler to comp, I'm actually going to directly comp this against 5 beds just to see where we're at in terms of comp. Like, yeah, well, we're just going to try to make the comp simpler. So again, 16 people is going to be a bit hard to sleep, but let's see, these listings are definitely accomplishing that as well. So this has a 1 king bed, 1 sofa bed. This has 2 king beds, 2 queen beds, 1 queen bed sofa bed. So they're just trying to stuff as many people and beds as possible in here. So I think potentially with the same strategy, we can fit 16 people. Um, it depends if the rooms are large enough. I mean, this already sleeps. Like if we're to make this 2 queens, like a 2 queen bunk bed, instead of having this like as a twin XL, that already can potentially sleep 2, 4, 6, up to 8 people, just in one room alone. This is too small to be an additional room, so we can do like a queen plus a sofa bed here, maybe. It's hard to tell. They didn't add that many photos, but just just assuming that we can do 16 plus people here, it really comes down to the amenities. So again, like amenities here, there's not much we can do with the backyard. Uh, Once again, we can have that really nice pool, make it very luxurious, but then there's not that much else to add on to it. There's this thing here, which is a little lounge area that's kind of useless. So like there's not much we can add besides like a little putting green and a pool. Or yeah, and a pool. So we're gonna have to find exactly that. And that's, well, I guess there's not that many comps here. So that's gonna be the hard part. And we're actually over here. Av 48. Yeah, we're over here. So I'm going to comp things directly in this small little area. So again, we're facing fierce competition. Um, this guy seems interesting. So it's a pool. It has a little backyard area, putting green. Um, this actually we could probably comp against. Like this is fairly similar layout to what we have. And again, we would transform our garage into having this game room set up because that's what most people have. So this can be definitely doable. We can comp against this guy. Um, so let's just do that for now for the best case scenario. I do think this is the best case scenario. So they're charging $789 per night. Occupancy rate of 67%. Oops, 360, 67%. Average length of stay, I think we'll do 3. And the cost for clean, I don't like California's already expensive in and of itself. But we're gonna have a lot of things to clean, a lot of backyard to manage. So I'm gonna put this at 350, but honestly, I could expect this to be even higher. And I wouldn't be surprised. In terms of the purchase price, they're asking 385,000. Or sorry, what? 835,000, and then our down payment is gonna be 25%, as it's gonna be an investment property. So for the construction and furnishing, this is gonna be where it gets a little bit tricky. I think for the pool itself, it's fine as is. We can add some cool lights, cool, uh, just little upgrades here and there to make it seem cooler. We can definitely add a slide over here, um, or even, yeah, somewhere over here. And then we would need to remove this area to add like that putting green. Um, I think for the rooms itself, it's fine at, wow, these rooms are kind of small to be fair. So I think the rooms itself don't need that much furnishing, and the home itself seems fairly nice. Actually, let's compare this home to what we have like interiorly. I think interior it's fine. We would, yeah, I think honestly the interior is more or less fine. We would definitely add some paint, make the, hmm, yeah, just make it a little bit modern, more modern. Um, so I think for like, so if we're to upgrade the backyard, say like add a, I don't know, $20,000. Furnishing, we'll just do furnishing plus like touch-ups, 30K. And what else did it need? Honestly, that's it doesn't need that much. Like maybe touch-ups in the front here to make it more presentable. We can do another like 10 grand, 15 grand here. So let's just say our construction plus reserve plus furnishing cost is 65 grand. Management and monthly HOA, or there is a monthly HOA. Oh, actually, there's no HOA. Management 0, monthly HOA is 0, and we're gonna be at an interest rate of 6.25% of 30 years. So that being said, and we need to update this as well. So this goes to 4%. We remove this. Digital locks 200, cable management, there's no snow removal, supplies, cleaning, permits. That's gonna be way more expensive. Let's just put 2 grand just for comps purposes, just for conservative purposes. But overall, in the best case scenario, these make stellar numbers. You have a total acquisition cost of 300K, which is a lot, don't get me wrong. But your cap rate is 13%. Year one cash on cash. Year one cash on cash is 21%. And a stabilized cash flow after debt is 63K. Insane numbers. So 63 divided by 12, that's about 5 grand per month. So these are really great numbers. Even if we were to assume our cost per clean turns to 450, we still make 55 grand per year. So this is the best case scenario. But let's see what the worst case, like the mid case scenario is and the worst case scenario are. Um, so this is pretty up there, and I think we could get up there. But you can see like this is fairly similar and it drops almost 60 or like, oh, actually this revenue is 147, not even, so it's available 278 days. So I'm actually going to comp it to make it 150. Um, well, yeah. It's a bit hard to comp, to be fair. Huh. You know, I think I'll just keep it for now for simplicity's sake. Um, but this is only making 150 instead of 190, which we assumed. Uh, so this is 47, 42% occupancy. So if I were to go down to like 47% at 133, yeah, I feel more comfortable there, I think. So that's making 17K instead of the 63 that we're assuming. Assume, let's just do best case, assume occupancy is at 47%. Now let's talk about the mid case. So again, we have a nice pool, a little putting green area, but you can see that some are starting to drop even with a 5-bed sleeping 14 people. Also, that doesn't even work. But even this guy, right? Like, sure, it's not super optimized. I wouldn't add any of this text. I would let the listing kind of speak for itself. But this has a nice putting green, a little fireplace area, a pool, and some games. So this is like what ours is going to have, but it's performing much, much worse, making 104K instead of the 140K that the previous comp was checking. So I think this could be a good mid-case candidate. This as well. So they're about the same, so about 100K in revenue. So let's just add that to see what our numbers now look like. So if we're doing mid-case at 100K, they're charging 788 per night at a 46% occupancy. 788. That's almost my exact numbers. 46% occupancy. It is only available 290 days instead of 360. So it's a little bit harder to comp against. I'll lower the daily rate a little bit to this guy, so 630. Yeah, so 104. So with those numbers at mid case, you can see here we're actually losing money, which gets a little sketchy. So with a total acquisition of 300K, cap rate of 5.2%, year one cash on cash of -2%, and a stabilized cash flow of losing 6K per year, almost $500 per month. So it starts to become a little sketchy as like you have these great listings that are still that are not even making money at 100K. if we were to go back to 350 instead of 450 for cost per clean, we're still losing money at about $1,000 per year, which isn't bad. I mean, you're still losing money, which is bad, but you're about break even. Um, but again, that's not even the worst case. Like if we were to go down even more, we have these great listings still that are only making 90, like 90K. So this is a muraled home, very updated. It looks beautiful. No complaints whatsoever. It actually looks very similar to the one we have. Um, Very beautiful. It has this nice mural, a pickleball court, a pool, a barbecue, and a putting green, and it's still not making that much money. Like, well, relatively. So it's making 89K at $1,000 daily rate. I mean, it is overpriced, and that's probably the reason why it's not making so much money. But still, even at 90K, which might be our worst case scenario, let's just see how the numbers play out. So if we want to do 90K, so we're gonna lower our rate even more. Let's just assume instead, I don't like this occupancy. I mean, honestly, it looks like these guys have a pricing issue because this guy's charging 1K with 29% occupancy, 1K, 27% occupancy. This one, the occupancy goes up definitely a little bit more to 700. And then this guy is also pretty good, 571 at 44%. So I'm going to match this daily rate. So like a $600 with the almost 50% occupancy. So 600, 50%. Let's do 44%, 95K. Yeah, I think that's fine. Um, so this, at our worst case, we're still losing money. It's not that much. I mean, it's still, you're still losing money, which is not good. So at the worst case scenario, we're going to be losing 8 grand per year. So total acquisition costs, again, the same, 298. Cap rate 5%, year one cash on cash negative 2.6%, and a stabilized cash flow after debt of about 8K. So overall, it's a little sketchy. Um, in the best case scenario, uh, well, it depends. Like if we're able to get in those upper echelons that we saw, you can really make a big cash cow out of this. You can make a huge home run. I would say even a grand slam with these numbers, making 63K per year. But if you want to not bet the farm on having the best listing, um, realistically, you'll still be making money, but the numbers aren't that great for how much you're actually putting in. So you get a 6% cash on cash year one, which isn't the best, but overall your net cash flow is about 2 grand per month. So you can definitely still make money, but again, there's a lot of competition here in this area. So for the second comp we're gonna check, it's this guy here, which is the resort style one, where you'll have pretty much every amenity that we want. So we would have a putting green, a pickleball court, this resort style pool, probably some slides as well. Pretty much building your dream resort. This is what we're going to comp against. So if we were to, let's quickly put the purchase price here. So this is a 5-bed, 4-bath. I'm actually going to still keep 5 beds just for the sake of it. Okay. Um, I will do that after my dinner. Continuing on to the analysis of this property, the 1.149. We're gonna find comps that can suit the need of this, with all the kind of all inclusive, all inclusive, all inclusivity. Oh my gosh, um, that we should have with this home. Um, so it does have a pool. It will eventually have uh yeah, so pool. Wait, why is this thing actually kind of small? I imagine this thing would be a lot bigger. So it's a pool. Hmm. This isn't as big as I thought it would be. Uh, yeah, it's not very good. I mean, even using these like STR end cases here, like even in the best case, this was making what, close to 100K? Okay, whatever. Let's just comp this out. Um, let's say our home beats this guy. A pool, a spa, slide plus games. I think we can definitely outpace this. Um, in the best case scenario, I think we could be around here, like that 180 mark. But for a little bit of conservative, um, yeah, being a little bit on the conservative side, let's just say that we're making like 145 in revenue. So at a price of 848, occupancy of 60%. This is only available 285 instead of 360 days. So if we were to lower just the ADR to like 750 instead, still puts us at 162, which is still very high in my opinion. I would say occupancy drops to like, yeah, this is fine, 148K. In terms of construction cost, overall, I think like it has the great bones of being an Airbnb, and honestly, it probably was an Airbnb before. I do think we need to upgrade the backyard a bit. Um, just like again, adding more amenities than just some of the simple stuff we have. Um, so with that being said, I think this would need so just furnish it 30K plus 15K for like a golf course, and then to like make a pickleball court or something, another 15K. So like 60 grand. Management, zero. Monthly HOA. There is an HOA of 270 a month. So eating into their profits. Cost per clean. I think this is a larger property. And just in general, it's on a 0.5 acre lot. So I think the cost per clean is going to be a little bit more expensive. We put 350 now. I think 350 is fine on the smaller, on the cheaper side, but it's probably going to be realistically like maybe in like 400. Let's just do 350 for now. 6.25 at 30 years. So overall, this property still makes money, but it doesn't make, it's not the greatest investment. So with a total acquisition cost of 381, you get a cap rate of 6.5%, year one cash on cash of 2%, and a stabilized cash flow of about 7K per year. So to make 7K with an investment of 381,000, it's not the best proposition in my eyes, and it's very risky. And that's in the best case scenario as well. that was kind of comping it against around here. In like a mid case, again, if we were to just comp it around this guy, which this guy did have a pool, a putting green, games, and some other stuff. I'm curious what the numbers would look like if it were only making 100K. So at that guy, this guy's cap rate or daily rate is 788 at 46% occupancy. 788, 46 occupancy. And this is only being available for 290 days. So if we were to lower the daily rate a little bit to like 740, let's just assume this makes 122, which is way over what this makes, 20K more, and is actually matching to like this guy. Um, with making 122, we're losing a good chunk of money. We're losing 10K a year, cap rate of 5%, year one cash on cash of -3%, and losing 10 grand per year. So I mean, yeah, this is not very, it's not a great investment because there's so much competition and the range is very super widely. Um, See, like if we were to add even if we're to lower the bedroom count range to 4, um, we start to get these guys, which we didn't see before. Tire Villa, that's making 170. You see this guy here, Modern Western Karaoke and Arcade. This guy here. So the range is just very insane amounts. Um, we have this person here where you have a very nice outdoor area, um, great pool, and again, putting green. Um, I definitely think we could beat this if we were to if we were to make our Airbnb even nicer. So even this at a revenue of 120, that's around what this is making, and this is losing money. So um, it's very hard to comp. You even have this guy here who has a racetrack. Um, that's kind of cool with like little, yeah, just to fill up the rest of the space with like a little racetrack for the kids. Um, so yeah, that is what we have. Um, Overall, this market is it's extremely competitive. And if you're not the top producer and you're buying at these price points of $1.1 million, it's a big risk, especially if you don't know if your house is going to make as much as you project it to make. Um, so that's the biggest point of caution I would take with a house in Indio. And on top of that, you just have tons of competition. Like 800 listings in this small little area is pretty crazy, with most being around three, 4, 5 beds. It's just a lot of competition. I mean, they are making a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but you're also facing a lot of competition. I would do this like if I was a pretty seasoned Airbnb investor, um, and I knew what exact amenities I would have to um, beat out the competition. I mean, you have this too, which sits on a lakefront. Wait, what? There's a lakefront in the middle of the desert. Yeah, so with that being said, let's quickly rate this market. So Indio, California. Regulatory, I'm just gonna put a 5. I mean, I yeah, I'm gonna put a 5 if I don't really know. Cash on cash return. The thing is, the acquisition price of getting a house here is very expensive, and so the cash on cash returns aren't actually super high. So for example, at our best numbers at the cheapest house, we're getting a 21% cash on cash, which don't get me wrong is really, really good. But if we're to assume a mid case, if not a worst case scenario, we're actually losing money in both scenarios. And then for this guy, in the best case, we're only making 2% cash on cash. So I'm going to rate this very low at maybe like a 2 or a 3. Affordability, again, I guess this is somewhat ties in with cash on cash returns. But affordability, for the desert, it is not very affordable. Um, we regularly see prices here over a million. This home itself was 800K. So in terms of affordability, I would say affordability is like 200K. Um, Let me put high 800s here. I'll just put 280. Affordability, I would say a 2. Exit liquidity. The good news with Indio is that it is growing. The bad news is that I do think this market is a bit fragile. You do have a lot of rich people, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them aren't uh these are not primary houses for people. So I think exit liquidity is actually somewhat okay. It's just that you need to sell it at the right time. You need to sell it to the right buyer. Like if we have rich people coming in here, say like people trying to avoid the winter, are they really going to buy a house with a really interesting mural in their backyard, or are they going to find this more attractive? So I don't think as a end, I don't think the end consumer would want to buy something that's like super extravagant in the backyard, like that racetrack, or like, even a pickleball court. I doubt they'll use. So, um, with that being said, I think exit liquidity is still fine. I would put it at a 7, maybe even a 6. And then lastly, ease of competition. So the competition here is absolutely fierce. You have the best of the best Airbnb operators in this area. You have literally stacked amenities, stacked arcades. You have your putting greens. You have your lazy rivers. You have slides. Every single amenity you can really think of, it is here. And so the competition is super, super fierce. I would rate this ease of competition as a 1 just because some of the best people are in this market. So overall, this gets a 3.2, the lowest rating out of any of these Midwest markets I've done before. This is the first California market I've done, and California is tough for a reason. So with that being said, let me know if you agree or disagree with my statements. If you have found this helpful, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. With that being said, take it easy. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Peace.